it was the speed more than anything that
Joshua.
Joshua up. The speed.
But okay.
But only he started late. He's still learning. Joshua, he can do so much. He's still late. He's still learning. It's a baby.
He can grow up. Good.
He's already 2 times champ. It's a baby.
Mike in his prime.
He didn't start learning yet.
Mike, you in your prime against Joshua or Usyk? How fast? How many rounds does it last?
Well, I'm only just talking about their first fight. I'm not talking about any of their fights before their fight. That night I was.
What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe and lick off the bell. So, as you might have seen by the title, your man's Mike Tyson has offered some more analysis to the Anthony Mandela-GHANDI, otherwise known as Anthony Joshua saga. And I gotta tell you, man, that this confirms my initial thoughts about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson has sold out people, yeah. Of all the greats we've heard speak here, and all the greats we've heard offer real advice, Roy Jones and George Foreman, Mike Tyson, in true 2021 form, has sold out in true fruity tooty style. Let me give you man the quotes right now. He said, "Just rewatched the fight with AJ and USYK. I thought that the way they conducted themselves after the fight was first class. I like the way AJ handles his losses with so much dignity. Everybody knows I got a little hater in me, but my mind was just blown away seeing it." He goes on, "These two men conduct themselves with so much class. That's just what I saw when my ego wasn't out of whack after the fight with two profound gentlemen. I think both of the fighters won that night, in my opinion." So there you go then. I mean, I played the video at the start of this video where Mike was also saying, oh, AJ's a little baby, he hasn't learnt much yet, and he's got loads to learn, and it's no, all this kind of rubbish. And now, it's just bad, I'm sorry. You man know my opinion. I've given respect to people like George Foreman, Roy Jones, everyone who's really got a little, just tiny piece of their nuts out. I'm not even asking for anything much more than honesty. What's with this fruity tooty things? Mike rubbing AJ off. Oh, both men won that night. No, they didn't. Yeah? Potentially one of the greatest heavyweights on planet Earth, potentially, got washed by an okay cruiserweight, as per Johnny Nelson. And I agree, I hate to break it to you, I concur. This fight should have shown you that Usyk is an okay southpaw cruiserweight. I still believe that, genuinely. I believe if the YB was head trainer in AJ's camp, we would have seen one of the greatest heavyweights versus an average, solid cruiserweight. That would have been it. Again, I stand by that. However, the reality is, we cannot now say Usyk is an average cruiserweight southpaw, because our mans didn't turn up. So we can't take that away from Usyk. That said, what we can do is put it all onto AJ. However, what doesn't help is your man's Mike Tyson, who a lot of people, not myself anymore, but a lot of people still give credibility to Mike. Mike's lost all his credibility. Lost it. Just in case some of you man don't know, Mike lost all of his credibility with me, yeah, when he sacked his so-called best friend who helped him through all of his tough times, and he sacked him over money. Over reasonable money as well. Didn't want to pay one of his best friends to do his job on his podcast. What's that about? But yet you want to be super moist in social media. I'll tell you why Mike's doing it. Mike's doing it because he knows how to... He's playing that typical Cabal 2021 fruity tooty role. Yeah? This is who Mike is now. He wants to be the, oh look, he's doing shrooms. Oh look, he's doing psychedelics. Oh look, he's doing toad venom. Oh look, he's doing this. Oh look, he loves the weed. Oh look, Mike. He's playing that, you know what I'm saying, that cringy role. That cringy hangover role. Oh look, yeah, cringy Mike. That's what he's playing now. That's who he is. It's a shill, it's a sellout. Yeah? And to be honest, we can't put nothing past Mike, because we've already seen him sell out his own family, literally. Yeah, his own kin, he sold out. But obviously, that's some next Cabal things. Yeah, X-rated Cabal things. But anyway, let's go back to this. Your man's Mike Tyson. So now you know what me and Mike don't get on. Because me, above anything, yeah, real friends come first. You don't hire a new management team to sack your mans because you don't want to chip him in on a podcast that you've both built from the ground up. And you tell him you've been telling the fans all these years that me and Eben were day ones and he helped me through all my tough times and he was one of the ones that was there for me. And you sack him over money. I thought you said you don't care about money. Oops. Yeah? But anyway, back to this. Putting that to one side. What's this doing? We know what this is doing. This is this for me is that typical 2021 Mike role now. Mike hasn't got any honesty in him. He hasn't got any oomph in him. It was lovely to see, but I can't believe how both men were so... What did he use? I'm pretty sure he used some moist word in there. I love seeing how wet... No, I'm sorry, Mike. When you got beat, you was big mad. And yeah, I agree that there's got to be some balance. You don't want to go too far the other way. Otherwise, you end up chewing on someone's ear. But there's got to be balance. It's got to be that Lennox Evander Holyfield balance where you ain't jumping for joy when you just got whooped. And certainly, both men aren't winners because of it. Oh, wait there. So you wait there. You can gas all your fans up about the KO a day before. Yeah? You can promote William Hill. Yeah? You can burn off the YB's coins. You can go in there, suck ass, do nothing in there. Then after the fight, because you want to rub up to the Donny who pushed your wig back, and take pictures with him and be all in the video with the Donny who pushed your wig back. So because you do that, you're both winners. I've never been to the level of sport, yeah, that AJ and Mike Tyson have been to, but I've been to a certain level, and guess what? I don't know where they do that at, that's for sure. Where in the sport culture does it say that, well, you can do the opposite of what you were supposed to do in the performance, but if you suck your opponent off who whooped you, then you get, we're both winners. We're both winners because I rubbed you off after you whooped my ass. What? Like I said, you man need to let me know where they're doing that at. Because I want a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? You man let me know where they're handing out $40 million payouts for Dons to turn up and just roll over. I'll get a piece of that. Yeah? I will get a piece of that. Mike's supposed to come in, because of all the people, yeah, George Foreman and that, them man are a bit older. Not that AJ would see them any differently, but Mike Tyson carries a particular type of weight. Yes, hardcore fans like the YB, we know that Mike's a fraud, but probably from AJ's point of view, he still really values Mike's opinion. And the last thing AJ needs right now is to hear from Mike, yeah, keep going, kid. Keep going with that moist rubbish. The last thing he needs right now is encouraging to be more moist. The last thing he needs right now is to be told that you both won. AJ, let me tell you right now, just in case you got confused because of Mike. Mike is a fruity, yeah? Mike is shroomed out of his mind. Mike is frog venomed out of his mind. He don't know what he's saying. Mike's one of them hippie dons from 1970s, super smiling all the time. What we do know is, Mike in his prime... and it's the thing, what would Mike in his prime do? Not what Mike frog venomed out of his mind would do. What would Mike in his prime do? I'll tell you what he wouldn't do. Or better yet, what would Mike under Cuss do? What would Cuss say? Mike was a function of Cuss in his prime as well, by the way. In fact, Cuss would tell Mike, refuse to lose. Cuss would spend hours developing Mike's resilience, mental fortitude, refusing to lose. That's what he said. Of all the great quotes Cuss D'Amato had, tell you where there wasn't one. You're both winners after rolling over and putting no effort in. Never once. You might listen. You might know me. I'm not a historian. Maybe some of you historian dons can educate me. I don't remember once Cuss D'Amato saying, Mike, go in there, roll over, dash your fans up, blow the YB's coins, and then you can be a winner too. Both winners. Wow, oh, Mike, what's Mike on about? Oh, it was an amazing performance. Can't believe how humble AJ was. I'm sick of the humbleness. I'm sick of it, truth be known. Because being truly humble, actions speak louder than words. Truly humble means you give USYK his respect. You say, listen, USYK, in training, I know this is your game. Let me be humble and not try and beat you at your own game. Let me go in there and do what I was made to do. Do what my body's made for, which is a wrecking machine. Oh, no, I'm AJ. I'm Team AJ. The sun shines out of our ass. We can do whatever we want to do and just win. Just turn up. We don't have a game plan. Our game plan is winning. Oops, how'd it work out? Getting popped in the face. Who would know that not having a game plan don't work out too well? Everyone has a game plan, apart from maybe Floyd Mayweather. But guess what? He has that level of IQ where he don't need a game plan. You ain't that guy. You haven't been schooled by top level boxers for 20 years, AJ. You haven't grown up in the gyms doing it since you're 3 years old, trained by uber high level. Let's not forget this. Floyd Mayweather Senior was fighting with Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah? That's who Floyd Mayweather was getting schooled by. And Sugar Ray Leonard, yeah, after the fight said that Floyd Mayweather Senior had one of the best defenses he ever seen. It was hard to penetrate. That's who was schooling Floyd Mayweather Jr. from 3 years old. Who's schooling you? Rob McCrappen. What, sloppy Carl Froch? Wow. And by the way, sloppy Carl Froch, who says himself never had listened to Rob McCrappen. If he did, he'd lost all of his fights. Because Rob McCrappen was telling him, in all the fights, yeah, Carl Froch won. And arguably, Carl Froch could have done a lot better against Andre Ward, I reckon. Imagine, yeah, if Carl Froch had had an Emmanuel Stewart in his corner, telling him, Froch, stop boxing with Andre Ward, get on top of him. In fact, that in itself proves what we need to know, people. Look at how Carl Froch fought against Andre Ward. Gave him way too much respect. Didn't fight to his own game plan. Carl Froch was listening to Rob McCrappen, no doubt, and just trying to box with the guy. 20 or 10 years later, what happens? History repeats. AJ, which is similar to Andre Ward versus Carl Froch, is similar to AJ and USYK. Going in there trying to box around the place. Get in there. Carl Froch should have gone in there and elbows in, chin down, and moshed all over Andre Ward. Yeah, he would have probably still lost, but he had a much better fight than getting his head boxed off at mid-range. Much like AJ got his head boxed off at mid-range. But no one ain't saying this stuff. You got these 2021 Cabal fruities, Boulay fruities, talking about, oh wow, people, don't ride AJ. Couldn't believe how he conducted himself after the fight. Well, Mike, it's good that you're talking about how he conducted himself after the fight, because guess what? What we know is you can't talk about how he conducted himself in the fight. So in a way, we can't even blame Mike for picking up on that, because they weren't naffled to pick up on during the actual 36 minutes when we should be at. That's the thing. How far has AJ fallen? How far has Anthony Gandhi Mandela fallen? That, let's not forget this, people. We should be focusing on what happened in the 36 minutes. How is it that in a 36-minute fight, the only good parts Mike want to talk about is the bit afterwards? Don't matter, don't count for nothing. Madness. Just rewatched the fight and thought the way he conducted himself was first class. I like the way Joshua handles his losses with so much dignity. Oh, come on, man. Everybody knows I've got a little hater in me, but my mind was just blown away. I bet it was. Cus D'Amato was blown away, turning in his grave at the sight of that. And deep down, Mike, even though you've sold out all the way, you know what Cus D'Amato would be saying about that. Yeah? He wouldn't be sitting there rubbing himself off over it. He'd be sickened at the idea that the YB got his coins lost. Because you gassed the fans up and didn't deliver anything you talked about doing. You robbed the fans. Yeah? Con the fans. Fish Eyes Warren style. And then, before I go, last thing. Your man's Mike sitting there talking about, oh, wow, yeah, look, AJ's a baby and... Mike, do you have to be a 10 out of 10 shill? Can you not just shill a little bit? Literally, Mike here, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Hearn paid Mike to come out. Mike, yeah. AJ, he down bad right now. AJ, he getting ridden by the YB day in, day out. Because the YB's sick of Rob McCrappen. He's sick of the softness. He's sick of how wet AJ is between the ears right now. Oh, Mike, yeah. I'm going to pay you 100 grand. Put some nice tweets out. Put some supporting videos out so AJ's fans can get gassed up again. That's what this feels like to me, because it don't make no sense. He's a baby. He's 14 years in. What's a baby about that? I started my career at 9 years old. I was out of the game by 19, 10 years. And by the time I finished, yeah, I pretty much knew everything there was to know. Yes, different sports, but the principles are the same. 13 years is a long ass time to be doing something twice a day. What are you talking about? What is that? I don't get it. And you've been to the Olympics, and you won the Olympics. How much more time do you want? And the mistakes you were making, yeah, weren't... How hard is it to know you got to march forward with your chin down and your elbows in? That's not... That takes... You can teach that in a week. If you've got a game plan. If you want to commit to it. If you don't, then you can be doing it for 15 years. And with Rob McCrappen, yeah, and AJ's current mindset, he could be doing it for another 30 years, and he still wouldn't click. Because him and his team are moist right now. They're soft. That's a fact as well. And that's why the fans are calling him Anthony Mandela-GHANDI. Because he's soft. Yeah. He got quotes. I wish AJ, yeah, had as much dedication in the ring as he does to his quotes. He stayed quoting. He stayed making it, them goofy Instagram memes. That's what he'd be doing. All them motivational Instagram memes. I reckon AJ was the founder of that kind of stuff, you know. Putting out them ones. Wow. So no. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all his justification. Oh, don't worry, people. Don't worry, he didn't turn up. At least he kissed USYK's ass at the end. Don't worry, people, he didn't turn up. He's only been doing this 14 years. Genuinely, all of my working dons out there, any builders or whatnot. After 14 years, what don't you know about building? I mean, in what industry, yeah, can you be doing it 14 years, day in, day out, and then be considered a novice? Because boxing is the only one. Genuinely, I've never heard of another industry where you can be doing it 14 years and still be a novice. Which one? I've never heard of it myself. And also, to add insult to injury, you've got AJ, who has arguably one of the best bases. So don't give me that. It's not like AJ's 5 foot tall and bulbous, a mesomorph, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the word is, ectomorph. He's got a big fat skinny frame and he's useless. Fair enough. Well, you know what I mean. He's struggling. He down bad. You got the best frame, the best engine. Well, in principle, you gassed. No doubt, you was already gassed. You have no air left. USYK punched the air out of you in that last round, rocking and rolling on the ropes. What was humble about that? What was humble for your fans, the YB included, having to turn away in that last round? There was nothing humble about that. There was nothing inspiring about that. Yeah?